Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Phantom of the Megaplex. Megaplex, not multiplex. Phantom of the Megaplex. This is from the year 2000. Cue the Conan O'Brien scene. From the year 2000. It's an hour and 28 minutes long, and it is a Disney Channel original movie. That's why I haven't heard of it, because I was not watching the Disney Channel in 2000, or possibly the 90s, or the 80s. I just didn't watch the Disney Channel when I was an adult. So, but anyway, yeah, this is definitely one of those one-off making of a cult classic type of film. I think it has a pretty strong fan following, but it is something I had not heard of until Disney Plus made it a thing. The title intrigued me, but I never, watched it because I figured it was going to show up here at some point. And being that it's a Disney Channel original movie, it's not always a guarantee that it's ever going to be anything good. It obviously has a specific audience, a younger audience, younger than I was at the time, and it just really didn't draw me in. The most interesting thing about this is the presence of Mickey Rooney. He's iconic actor Mickey Rooney. He's been he's no longer with us, but he was doing he was an actor since he was a kid himself, and that was a long time ago. But here he plays pretty much an elderly dude who likes to hang out in a movie theater. He doesn't work there, but he shows a love and a passion for movies, and usually tries to help where he can, much to the chagrin of the actual owner, not the owner, but the manager of the theater, who's been tasked with setting up a big premiere in this smaller town. It's not a small town because apparently it's big enough that they have a two-story movie theater, Megaplex. It was actually shot in Salt Lake City, Utah. So, if you know where this movie theater is, if you've been to it, then you know it's in a working real movie theater. It was filmed there, so it's not just a set. There's lots of escalators, and you get to see the inner workings of a movie theater in panic mode. There's a big horror movie premiere going to happen at this theater. And the manager wants everything to go off perfectly. Of course, he has the perfect assistant, the the assistant manager. His name's Pete Riley, and this is who the movie focuses on. Pete Riley and his family. He has a younger sister and a younger brother, like you see here. That's Pete, and that's his sister, and that's his little brother. And we get so much backstory, not only but it's really actually really well done. It's actually it doesn't belabor any of it. Most of this information seems like it's absolutely worthless, at least when it comes to introducing all of his coworkers. They freeze frame, put the name up on the screen, give that character a nickname, explain what their personality is like, and then they move on to the next one. They do that for like the first 10 minutes of the film. It seems like it. But it gives you an introduction to all the cast characters rather than trying to figure out who these people are through conversation, because hey, it's an hour and a half movie, it's on the Disney Channel, you're not exactly going for auteur level filmmaking here, even though it's about a love of going to the movies and a love of film. Pete is not exactly a big film buff, but his little brother and sister are. They love movies, especially the little brother. But the two younger siblings, they got their heads in this fantasy world that they see things that most people don't when it comes to a mystery that abounds, at least in this in this story. I get the impression that this might have been kind of a pilot for a potential series. As Disney Channel movies, we've seen this before in other things, Disney Channel movies tend to at least be a jumping off point for maybe in a franchise, a sequels. We've seen that with Halloween Town to a certain degree, but we've seen that also. You get the impression that some of these movies were meant to be blown out into movies if they were successful. But again, it's on the Disney Channel, so you're hitting that target. Who knows? But the thing is, they did it really well. The idea is that with all these characters, all these different personalities that they introduce, it could have worked. I think it could have worked. I don't think there was a series. If there was, it's in a completely different title, and I haven't found it yet. So tell me if I'm looking in the wrong place. Anyway, this happens in a big megaplex, obviously, that, like I said, is having a big premiere. But there's a history for this theater, just like he explained all this stuff with all the supporting cast, all his coworkers. They also explain that there was an old movie theater that opened up in the 1920s, and then it was demolished, and they say that somebody was still in there when they demolished it, and then they built this megaplex over top of it, and now it's haunted, possibly. And, on the biggest night of their lives, and Alex is trying to keep everything perfect as the manager who's just been turned down for like a big position, even though he's working his butt off for the boss, the owner of the building, owner of the theater. They just, everything is going wrong. And weirdly enough, all the stuff that's going wrong relates to the name of whatever movie is playing at the time. Beyond having a premiere at this place, they're doing business as usual with the other 20-some screens in the building. And as things start to deteriorate, as things start to go wild, like a windstorm, there's a big fan inside one of the theaters blowing around when people were watching a movie about a cyclone. And the lights are going on and off in a movie about darkness or light or whatever, and it's all very ironic, but it's Pete's little brother and sister who figure out, oh my, well, Karen and Brian, yeah. So figuring out that maybe it's the Phantom of the Megaplex. Who could it be? And there's a number of different suspects, including Mickey Rooney. I'm not going to tell you who the Phantom is, but it's kind of goofy. The concept that this would even be a thing that somebody would try to sabotage this evening, ruin it for the big premiere of all these people coming in from Hollywood to celebrate their launch of this movie. Of course, it's a Disney film, so everything works out in the end. And it does seem to open itself up to making this a regular family mystery, kid horror drama. So there's really no horror. It's not scary at all. It's just a mystery, like a Scooby-Doo type of mystery, And they always have to peel the mask back and go, "Hey, it's you!" And so, yeah, it could be. I think again, one of the reasons why they named off all these characters and their personalities and everything else is that so you had an idea that, oh well, it could be any one of these people. It could be any one of these characters without having to get to know them through story. So yeah. So lots of stuff happens in this. It's not a great movie. Again, sorry to those who grew up with it and this is a cult classic to you. It's goofy, it's silly, it is, which are not bad things, but it's definitely not a great movie. I do appreciate its love for film. Again, they have to use all fake movie names for the most part. Mickey Rooney is great in it because he plays what seems to be a doddering old man, but is just obsessive about film and loves film, and he's doing everything he can to make this experience for everybody who comes in the theater the best it can be, even when he tells people he's enlisted when everything goes crazy. He's enlisted to take tickets, and when he sees some people or have a ticket for a really crappy movie, he's like, "Oh, see this other one. It's much better." And they're just screaming their heads off at Mickey Rooney and saying, "Leave us alone, old man." And they're threatening to punch him. It's upsetting. So yeah, it's not a bad film, but it's not a great film. So if it's a cult classic and you're curious about these Disney Channel movies that you may not have seen or you may have missed back then, here's your chance. It's on Disney Plus. Duh. I recognize a number of other actors in this, but honestly, I couldn't tell you. Corinne Bohrer plays Julie, the mom. I've seen her in a billion things. She's done commercials and TV shows out the wazoo. But for the most part, This cast I do not recognize. It has humorous moments, but it's not funny, like comedically funny, even though it's meant to be a comedy. Taylor Handley is Pete, and he's the main character. It looks like he grew up and did more acting because he's an adult in his IMDb picture. But yeah, give it a shot. If you're looking for something a little bit different, a little bit odd, and you don't mind it being Disney Channel original quality, you know what I'm talking about when I say that, right? Anyway, let's pick tomorrow's episode.
95.
Ooh, way down. 95. Oh, okay, we got a short. An actual short. Well, we had Ferdinand the Bull the other day, but let's check out Clock Cleaners. I don't know what that is. Clock Cleaners is our short on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.